and Marcus had been through a lot. Both orphans grew up in a small, run-down town in the South, barely scraping by. Despite their hardships, they found happiness in each other. Their son, Caleb, was the light of their lives, but money was always tight. Marcus worked odd jobs, and Mia took care of Caleb at home. Yet despite their hard work, they struggled to make ends meet. As Caleb grew older, things didn't get better. They had just enough to feed him, but not much else. Clothes were worn thin, and sometimes Caleb had to make do with what he had. Still, the little boy always tried to make his parents smile, showing off small things he found, like a bird's nest or a pretty rock. One day, Mia heard about a job working as a nanny for a wealthy woman named Isabel. It wasn't much, but a chance to make extra money. She left Caleb with Marcus every day, walking to Isabel's mansion to care for her children. It hurt to be away from Caleb, but Mia knew it was the only way they could survive. Meanwhile, Marcus became restless. He knew the village wouldn't offer much for their future. One night, he told Mia about a new opportunity in the city. There was better work there and more money. Mia didn't want him to leave, but deep down she knew he had to try. They saved up every penny for months. Caleb didn't understand why they had so little, why they had to skip meals or go without new clothes. But one day they had enough money. Marcus was set to leave. Caleb clung to his father, asking when he would be back. Marcus promised him it would be soon. With a heavy heart, Mia watched him walk away, hoping it was the right decision. The city was nothing like the quiet town they'd known. The noise, the crowds, the endless buildings. It was overwhelming. But Marcus found a job as a cleaner in Isabel's mansion. The pay was decent, and over time he became more comfortable with the luxury around him. The fine clothes, the expensive jewelry, the elegant dinners. It was a life he'd only dreamed of. Isabel took notice of Marcus. At first it was small conversations, a compliment here and there. But soon their chats grew longer and more personal. Isabel was kind to him, offering extra pay and gifts for his hard work. Slowly, Marcus started to feel a pull toward her. He stopped writing to Mia and Caleb, telling himself it was just temporary, that he was doing it all for them. But deep down, he began imagining a life with Isabel, a life without the struggle. Marcus made a choice that would change everything. He told Isabel he was an orphan who had come to the city to escape a hard life. He kept his family a secret. And then, to cut ties with his past, he paid a man to send a letter to Mia, claiming Marcus had died in a tragic accident. The man didn't know the real story and delivered the letter to Mia, who was shattered by the news. Mia couldn't believe it. The love of her life, the father of her son, was gone. She tried to keep going, but it was harder than ever. She worked long hours as a nanny, took on extra jobs, and did whatever she could to survive. But it was never enough. Caleb, now 10, grew up faster than he should have. He helped Mia with the housework, took care of his younger sister, and never complained. He saw how hard his mother worked and promised himself that one day he'd make things better for her. At 16, Caleb made a decision. He couldn't let his mother carry the weight alone. He dropped out of school and learned carpentry, hoping he could provide for them. Mia wanted him to stay in school to have a better future, but Caleb insisted. He knew this was the only way. One day, Caleb's hard work paid off when a local carpenter, Mr. Davis, offered him a chance to work in the city. It was a big step, but Caleb was determined to make a better life for his family. He promised Mia that he would come back for them once he had saved enough. Years passed, and Caleb's carpentry business began to grow. He became well known for his skill, and soon he had the means to bring Mia and his sister to the city. But before that happened, Caleb saw someone who looked familiar in the crowded streets of the city: his father. It couldn't be. Marcus was supposed to be dead, but Caleb couldn't ignore the nagging feeling. He followed the man through the streets, and the closer he got, the more certain he became. The man was Marcus, alive and well, with Isabel and their children. Caleb was furious. He couldn't believe the man who had abandoned them, who had faked his death, was living such a comfortable life. He confronted Marcus, who was stunned to see him. For a moment it seemed like Marcus didn't know how to react, but then the truth came pouring out. Caleb revealed everything to Isabel, and her world shattered. Isabel couldn't believe what she was hearing. The man she had loved and trusted was nothing but a liar. She turned away from him, taking their children with her. Marcus had lost everything. Caleb returned home and told Mia the truth. She was devastated. All these years she had believed Marcus was dead. But Caleb, determined to move forward, told her they had to let go. They had already survived this long, and they would keep going. Mia was heartbroken, but she knew Caleb was right. They had each other, and that was enough. Caleb promised to bring them to the city, to a new life where the struggles would be over. Meanwhile, Marcus's world collapsed. Isabel left him, taking everything with her. His wealth, his respect, everything he had built on lies, was gone. Alone and destitute, he realized too late the cost of his choices. The luxury he had once dreamed of now felt empty, and he was left with nothing but guilt. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the story. How do you feel about the story? What message do you think the story conveys about love, sacrifice, and loyalty? And how did the ending make you feel? I'm eager to hear your reflections and any questions you might have. Your feedback means a lot and helps us shape future stories. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to the channel and like this video for more amazing stories.